All right, my name is Rich Schmidt. We're here with Julia Sliker. It's June 25th, 2025, and we're at Cho Wines. And Julia, thank you so much for joining us today. First question to get things started is why wine?
So I didn't grow up in a family that know wine really well. My dad and my mom would drink wine occasionally. And when I was 19, me and my mom went to this food and wine festival in Hong Kong. And my mom decided to order 3 cases of ice wine. And that's the first time when I drank wine. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. It's sweet, it's just so tasty. And then when I came to Oregon for school, my friend would take me out for a wine tasting. So in that time, I started searching for ice wine. I was like, I couldn't find this in Oregon. So that was just like, and then so just kind of on and on, just going wine tasting, keep exploring. And I would say about 6-7 years ago, there was a class at OSU, just kind of teaching people how to do wine tasting. And they were teaching us how to do taste Sauvignon Blanc. And so I was like, okay, this is just so fascinating. And so I think in that point, I just start exploring different wineries and start learning. And now I'm here at Cho. And I just I would say, it's just very fascinating because they all made from grapes, but you can, because of the terroir or condition or how they make it, just make it taste so different. I think in just that point, I just want to learn more.
So let's talk about your life before wine a little bit. Tell us about born and raised and you had an early life.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I came to America when I was 17 for school. I went to Oregon State University to study zoology and economics. And after that, I worked 6 years at OSU doing aquaculture stuff, microbiology, focusing on grass seed. But then back in 2020, it was just kind of around the pandemic time. On the website, I came across, it's called the Diversity of Wine Scholarship for BIPOC people. And it was sponsored by Josh Hart. He's an NBA player. And he decided to push out 100 scholarships for nationwide for WSET level 1. I saw the opportunity. I was like, well, sounds fun. So I decided to apply it, and I got the scholarship. And in one of the Zoom call, we were learning from Master Wine, and also Josh Hart actually was on the Zoom call. So it was pretty cool. And then, so I think at that point, I was like, okay, I want to do something more. And then I started doing some weekend work for this really small, tiny winery. And then I come across another scholarship opportunity through African American Vintners organizations. So I got my WSET level 2. So I'm very fortunate. So I just keep going. And then I start, while working full-time at OSU, I did start to work part-time at a wine bar called Corazón in Corvallis. And my former employer actually went to school with Dave Cho. So that's how I met Dave and Lois. And then so during that time, I took my WSET level 3 through Linfield University. And then I think at that point, I just realized like I want to make some career changes. I don't want to work at OSU anymore. Even one of my supervisors, she encouraged me. She said, do not stay at the OSU seed lab. There's no future here. Go do whatever you want to do. She said I have a lot more potential out there. So that's why last year, June, I decided to quit my 6-year job at OSU and decide to work for Dave and Lois. So that was just my whole wine journey, but I would say the last 5 to 6 years.
Tell me about growing up in Hong Kong.
It was really fun. I would say we grew up in a small apartment. It's about 360 square feet with about 4 people and a dog. And I would say my parents wasn't really there a lot. My mom worked overseas a lot, and my dad worked in China. So I kind of grew up on my own a lot of time, sometimes with my aunt and my uncle and my cousin. I'm really close with my cousin. She's 2 years older than me, but she's almost like a sister to me. In order to, I would say in our culture, in order for us to have a better future, my mom saved up a lot of money to send me to America to study. But I would say going to Hong Kong is really fun. It's just a lot of good food. I have a lot of friends there. Something I definitely miss a lot.
So the plan was to send you to America. Why Oregon State? Why Oregon?
Ooh, so initially I first actually spent 2 years in Spokane, Washington for community college. Initially, I really want to be a veterinarian. We like animals, and I heard great thing about Oregon State University. And also, they are the first university that accept me because the tuition is a little bit more affordable. And I have no idea. Like when I first came to Oregon, I have no idea. I don't know anyone here. I've never visited here before. People told me it rains a lot, and there's a lot of trees. And yeah, but it was great. I would say because I experienced a lot of racism in Spokane, Washington. So when I came to Corvallis, Oregon, it surprised me. People were very nice. Never experienced anything bad. And then on my first term at OSU in my calculus class, I met my husband. So we were friends for a year, and then shortly after I graduate, we got married. So one thing about being an international student is you could stay for a year and then you have to go back to your country. So I think at that point he got really nervous. So we got married very early on. We never had a wedding. We just signed paper at the courthouse. Yeah, and now we're almost married for almost 10 years next year.
That's amazing. So you mentioned the kind of the initial goal to be a veterinarian. So tell me about the steps in that process for you. You mentioned obviously studying zoology and things like that. What sort of prompted you to veer off and head into like working at Oregon State versus pursuing veterinary studies?
I think I realized I'm not smart enough. And I realized it's a very competitive way. Like I heard, because they were saying like maybe 1,000 people apply, maybe only 36 people can get accepted in vet school. And also realize it's very expensive. One of the challenges being an international student is you have solely financially support by your parents. And I think at that point I realized I don't think we can keep going on with education-wise. So just decide to finish school as much as possible, and then I can go find a job to support myself. And but I still love animals, and but I did work in a vet clinic when I was in Hong Kong for a little bit. It's definitely emotionally and physically exhausted. But then so I just kind of find a job at OSU. It's stable. It's great. I always say COVID definitely changed my career path a little bit. Because when you have a plan like, okay, after this year I want to move on. But then when COVID happened, I was just like, okay, I still have a job, so I should stay a little longer. Yeah. And then I just kind of think about it's just always like in your early 20s, you always think about like what to do with my life. And then I think wine just came up really fascinating. I think with my background in Hong Kong, because we have a lot of good food, being exposed to a lot of good tea, and then just kind of build my palate and appreciate good things.
Tell us a little bit about the work you were doing at Oregon State after you graduated.
Much things. So it's called the OSU Seed Lab. So we have different units. And my first unit, we do a lot of, you're looking at a microscope and you try to pick out seed. So you're in a bag of grass seed. The usual bag of grass seed, they tell you how many pure seed in there, how many weed, how many, they call it inerts in there. So we are the one who like go through it, just pick out stuff. So I got really good at IDing seed at one point. And then, so of course I will enforce about training people, hiring new people, temporary for like seasonal workers. I think at one point I want to try something else, so I applied to a different unit, and then we do a lot of more genetic testing and microbiology, like ELISA tests, bacteria testing to make sure when farmers get this product, it's just not going to be contaminating the field. But then I just, in that point, I was like, I have learned everything I could in that place, and I just want to. And also, one thing is 80% of my coworkers are above 60 years old. And so they are just all tired, ready to, they just ready to retire. And so I just like, I want to do something else. Yeah.
So you mentioned the opportunity for the WSET level one. So I'm curious about your I guess what was the experience like? WSET one, sort of the intro level. What did you enjoy about it? What made you want to keep going and do more of it?
I would say it's just really fun to learn about new things. It's just very fascinating. I think one thing keep moving on is I realized I wasn't confident. I feel like being an immigrant and having my accent, having a language barriers, I won't be enough for the industry. I think after my W level one, I have a little hiccups. So I mentioned that earlier. I work in during my part-time work in this very small wineries. That was an incident happened. So my boss like, I'll call this members, maybe you can deliver wine to them. I called him multiple times, and then I left him a voice message. And then later on, he reached out to my boss and said he want to cancel membership. He think I was a scammer because of my accent. So I think one day my boss sat me down and gave me an English lesson. I told him I've been here for about like 10 years now, but he was insist to try to, I think that made me kind of upset, but even more upset for my husband. I didn't say anything during that time. So I think I stopped working there like shortly after, but I think I was like, am I not knowledgeable? Like, what can I do to make myself better and be ready for the industry? So that's what just kept me. I think in my Asian culture is the more education you get, like more certification you get, more degree you get, the better. So that just make me keep moving on.
So with the continuing levels, tell me about how you learn wine. What are the ways that you have gone to learn information for WSET 2 and 3, and what excites you about the world of wine?
I never thought about it that way before. I just love learning. I just enjoy the process, and tasting is so much fun. Of course, with WSET level 3, it's really challenging because it's just a lot of memorizations. I think, of course, like we watch a lot of YouTube video. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there that helps, and a lot of resources out there. But I would say I really think one day it really helps me to retain the knowledge is being in the other countries and being there to like look at the landscape and try the wine instead of just learning from the book.
Where have you traveled to?
Not a lot of places, mostly Asian countries. Have not been to Europe yet. Been mostly like Canada, America, yes. So eventually, I'm planning to go to, I really want to go to Europe next year. I would say it's just like hard. My schedule right now, I have a lot of responsibility. I'm working full-time at Cho, but also I'm working another job at the wine bar. Right now, I'm also managing there. So I'm working 7 days a week.
So let's talk about Corazón first. You mentioned that. Tell me about finding your way there and what the experience has been like for you there.
It's been very interesting because the former owners, Nick, sold his business to the chef. So I have a new boss since the beginning of this year. But also I got promoted to be the manager and the sommelier there. But I have expressed concern to them before that I feel like I'm already so busy at Cho. I won't be able to have enough time over there. But my boss insists me to stay. I think it's just really hard to hire someone with a lot of wine knowledge, especially in a college town, Corvallis. So but it's been that's all up and down. And of course, I would say in any restaurant hospitality industry, the wine has been going down since the last couple years. College students can't really afford wine. So yeah, I think it's just nationwide problems. But generally, I really enjoy what I'm doing there because I feel like I've been studying for getting so many certifications. I think my end goal was like I really want to become a sommelier.
So let's talk about that a little bit. With that as the sort of the goal, and you've obviously you've gotten certifications already. What else is left for you to do that you need to do to be on the level you want to be?
I think my next goal is I really want to be the certified quarter master sommelier. Because I feel like I still need to learn. I feel like I still need to polish my wine tasting skills. And I feel like the more you learn, it's just always the tip of the iceberg in the wine industry. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think for everyone, so every day of life, I think we always questions and what do we want to do with life. So I think every day I may change my mind. I feel like I have a lot of interests, especially with my economic backgrounds. I feel like in the next couple of years, if I ever want to change career path, I could totally do that. But just right now, I want to focus in wine.
So tell me about meeting the Chos.
So I met them at Corazon. Dave, Cho, and Nick are really close. They used to work together. They have been friends for years. And then I would say a couple of years ago, people start mentioning about them around me. And I went to the first AAPI Food and Wine Festival. I was like, and it blows my mind. I have never seen that many Asian people gather in one place in Oregon. And it is so cool to see them playing Asian music in the background. Because as an Asian person, when you go wine tasting, or like go to any winery, it's so weird to see any Asian people working or just not a lot of Asian guests. So it's just really cool. And then one day I just saw on Instagram, she said she's hiring temporary full-time staff. And then I just apply, and then we talk on the phone, and yeah, I gave my 2 weeks notice to my boss. I would say it has a little hiccup. So I have 2 supervisors. One of my supervisors, she's very supportive, and the other supervisor, he really want to keep me there, and he keep telling me there's no future in the wine industry. But he also doesn't drink, so. But then it just kind of it's just so conflicting. But yeah, so I make the decision. So now, yeah, and then so I've been working with Dave and Lois. I would say that even the first, the view is just stunning. The first time I came here, it was like, oh my God, this is just so pretty. And the second time is kind of blew my mind is how many BIPOC guests we have here.
So what was the role you were hired for?
I think I was hired for a temporary tasting room associate. And then beginning of this year, I got promoted to be a tasting room lead.
So take me through the experience of working in the tasting room here. How many people are you working with, and what is sort of what is the experience here?
I think. So last year, we're a smaller team. So Dave and Lois here, Shop, she's a hospitality director. Last year, David was the tasting room lead. And then we have a couple part-timers. And it's been really fun. I would say, so the first day I start working here was the grand opening. So it seems, I was very nervous because I don't know what's going on. And then, so I would say it was really fun. It's a little chaotic because I think everyone's also nervous at the same time too for the grand opening. It was just really busy, but it's really fun. And then after that, I was gone for a little bit and I came back and officially started. So yeah, they just start training me. And this is like they call it high touch place. So we do a lot of storytelling. So I think initially it takes a lot of practice for me to learn the stories and memorize all the details. But I would say one thing is just something I never experienced before at OSU is Dave and Lois. They occasionally would buy us coffee, and they would buy us like breakfast and lunch. One thing I will remember one day I feel really cared for is I think during harvest time, I came in one day and then Lois was like, oh, I make extra pasta. Do you want some? And so she just handed me a Tupperware of pasta. So that was like, oh my gosh, like this is just, they were just like family. It's really cool.
So you talked about the high touch and the story. So tell me a little bit about the story of the place and what you're trying to relate to the guests here.
So you usually kind of bring up Dave and Lois' background stories, how they are the first Korean American winery in Oregon, and then we try to make it less pretentious. We don't bring up a lot of like tasting note, not a lot of technical stuff. We want to make it more approachable. Kind of with jokes a little bit. Usually we kind of tell people they are not like crazy rich Asians. So we try to break the stereotypes here. Kind of bring in like, okay, this is like a decade-long dream that they've been trying to achieve. I think it's kind of able to relate to me because I feel like when I came to America, also I'm trying to chase my own American dreams. And it's just takes years for me to get here. But yeah, we try to, I would say my goal initially is like I want to break the stereotype of being immigrants or BIPOC. I want people to feel comfortable here. And also I want other people to see that you can still work in the wine industry, even though you're not from here, even though you have an accent, even though there's language barriers.
And tell me a little bit about the wines here. What are you serving?
So we have sparkling wine. Dave is really well known for his sparkling wine because he used to work for Argos and Stollers. So one of our wine was top 32 last year in Wine Enthusiasts. And also he also do a lot of fun project stuff. One of the things we call it Pet Nets. It's a Pinot Green, Pinot Noir. Last year we had Alagote. And then also we have Chilla Boret. So, and then some traditional wine, of course, some Pinot Noir, Syrah.
So tell me a little bit about your initial impressions of the Oregon wine industry as you got to know the people here, the people making wine and the wines they were making. What are your kind of general thoughts on Oregon's wine industry?
So initially, the only places I really go frequently, because someone told me about, is Willamette Valley Vineyard. So my impression is like, oh my God, this place is gorgeous, it's huge, that's a high volume place. But the thing is, I never able to meet the winemakers or the owners. So the longer I kind of like work in the industry, the more I'm able to like go to different smaller wineries, able to say, oh my gosh, like it's so cool to able to see, to meet the owners. Oh, actually the first time that impressed me actually is Knudsen. I was there for a tasting. I don't know how, actually I was in the Instagram tasting, I was like an Instagram post and somehow I won a free tasting. And so I went there for tasting, and then so the staff was kind of talking, and then he mentioned like, oh, actually, let me grab the owners. So I was able to meet her and able to listen her stories, and that was just, I would say that blows my mind, because then it kind of made me feel like, oh wow, this is almost like, I don't know, it's just almost like the wine industry is not very out of touch. Because for initial, when I go to other winery, I feel like, oh my God, this is very bougie. I feel like I'm way too young to be here. So yeah, and then being in the industry now, going to different industry events, meeting other winemakers, it's just gave me a different perspective. And so one of my friends used to work in the industry, but she decided to switch her career to become a data analyst. She kind of told me that being a winemaker is almost like a labor of love. You don't make a lot of money, and it's physically really hard. And able to see that firsthand in the cellar last year definitely made me feel like, okay, this is just it's not very romantic as people thought. It's a lot of earwigs, a lot of bugs, it's a lot of fruit flies. It's hard, and I think that made me appreciate wine more, because I realized that the winemakers and people working in the cellar put in a lot of effort, like sweaty and blood into it.
Hopefully not literally into it.
Hopefully not. But it's hard. That's why people ask me if I ever want to work in a cellar. I was like, I don't think I could do it.
So you talked about being able to see more and more of the industry. So tell me about Oregon wine right now in 2025. You mentioned obviously that kind of numbers are down a little bit. What does the industry kind of, I guess, what does the vibe feel like to you right now? What does the industry feel like, and where are we going in the next couple of years?
I would say in the service, it seems like people seems really nervous. I would say everyone's trying really the best, but on the other hand, looks like there's a lot more, we're attracting more tourists coming here. People calling the Oregon as like the next Napa. But I would say, I think it will come back. I've been doing a lot Googling too and looking at Reddit posts, and people said, wine has been around for thousands of years. There's always up and down, and they will come back eventually. I would say, it's interesting, I think they said people said Gen Z is not drinking. Maybe COVID kind of affected that, the social circumstance, the culture. They wasn't really party that much. I was exposed to wine because of my friends in college. They took me out wine tasting, or I would never. And also, I think it's like a cycle. I was exposed to sweet wine first, and then kind of train my palate to do white wine and red wine. So I think if we just kind of bring that to the younger generation, then they will appreciate it. And I think the Chos are doing the right things here. We try to make a great experience, try to attract the younger demographic. We do a lot of fun events. We're gonna have a karaoke night. We also do a lot of, they invite Korean food for catering stuff. I think not just drinking wine, but then you also can have Korean food at the same time.
So tell me a little bit about your future and what you would like to do next. You mentioned that you have a lot of interests. What have you not done that you want to do? What are some things that are kind of on your goal list?
Well, right now, I wish I had more time to read books. I really miss reading books. I just turned a couple pages the last couple months of The Law of the Rain. I wish I could keep doing that. I have an interest in accounting as well, and also finance. I think eventually I want to learn how to do bookkeeping. So I tend to get into a rabbit hole. If I get into really interested in something, I would dig into it and do a lot of research, and that's why wine just kind of inspired me, because I realized the hole is so big. There's so much to learn. But yeah, of course, I will, stay in something I'm interested, because I feel like once there's something I'm really interested, then I will go for it. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing the next couple of years. So yeah. So hopefully wine will keep me stay interested, because people always say if you like what you're doing, you should work something in that field or something. So I kind of did that, and so maybe if I like something in the future, then I may do that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Is there anything specifically in wine that you'd like to? You mentioned obviously the Court of Master Sommeliers. With something like that, is there a specific job you would like to have, or a place you'd like to work?
Not specific. I would say I picked Cho's wine specifically because being a BIPOC person, there's not a lot of places that owned by Asian people. And when I see this opportunity, I just grab it immediately, because I don't know when's the next time another Asian will open a winery in Oregon. And it's such a big scale too. I think Lois is very talented. She able to tap into the great demographic with the right social media posts and marketing. And so I don't know. I think this is one of the best places. I can't imagine other place that will be very diverse and able to work with other Asian people too.
All right. That's all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything I didn't ask that I should have, or anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
I think that's it.
We got it. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, taking the time to share with us, and sharing obviously this beautiful space with us as well. Appreciate it, and we'll let you off the hook.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.